thought that there'd be outrage over pulling Devin Smeltzer too early from a Major League Baseball game, Pat. But after the game, Rocco Baldelli said, and Tyler Duffy, for those that didn't watch it, gave up 3 runs or whatever it was. And Rocco Baldelli was asked about, hey, why didn't you just leave Smeltzer in the game? And he said, sometimes those decisions are already made. Very interesting.
80 pitches. Was that it? Was that his limit or something? Or was
Must have been.
Smeltzer wanted out? I don't think Smeltzer wanted out.
No, I think it's the most pitches, in fairness, that he has thrown in a game this year. But
he wanted to stand.
Interesting.
The most disturbing thing about Duffy's performance was that he described that last curveball he threw as a good pitch. That was hangy. That was Charlie Liebrandt throwing a changeup to Kirby Puckett. That's what that was. It was just a hanging hook right in the middle of he hadn't been very good. That's for sure. He's had, he's been okay a few times and terrible about 3 or 4. But he's probably the worst element of that bullpen at the moment, right? That's getting any important stuff to do. But he was terrible. God, that was bad. The pitch, the breaking pitch was just sitting there telling him to hit it. And it was,
Have we gone too far with this third time through the order, or let me just say it this way, getting a starting pitcher out before he runs into danger, as opposed to just letting a guy who's gone 7 innings, 80 pitches, I don't know, just have a guy ready and see what happens?
What was interesting about bringing in Duffy, there was nobody behind him because he must have felt his bullpen was short. So you bring in Duffy and you don't have anybody behind him. That's if he's going to be bad, you're out of luck. Everybody's upset about Smeltzer. I thought the 7th, he was not as efficient as he had been, and there were a few 103-mile-an-hour outs too. It was not like they never put the bat on the ball. They made some nice plays in the field, and I was not sitting in my living room screaming, "Why are you taking Smeltzer out after 80 pitches?" But after I saw what Duffy had to offer, I was
pounding the table
because Duffy was. You could tell from the beginning he wasn't good, and when he's not good, that breaking pitch just hangs there, and wow, that was terrible. But when they loaded the bases with no outs, and we had Miranda, Gordon, and then Kepler coming up, my theory was, as a follower of the Twins, I sure hope Kepler can get a hit. Because I had no hope for those other 2 stiffs. I know Miranda had a couple of hits. He's scared to death in he's scared to death in big situations. He won't swing the bat. And then he must not think he's quick enough with the bat because he starts early and gets a halfway swing 4 times a night. He checks his swing. And he's get him out of here. He's slow, and he's a choker in the big situations. And I had no hope for him. And Nick Gordon is, not a big league player. We talked about that yesterday. So he's not a big league hitter.
So Pat, here's my question then. If you're going to have a bench that is as thin as the Twins is, because of the fact that they keep
it's going to get thinner because he's very happy that he's going to be able to have 14 pitchers now and 3 bench players.
I know, but don't you have to then get the bench as strong as you possibly can? Like, it makes no sense. I mean, Nick Gordon pinch hits, and Rocco's thing is, well, he makes some contact.
And you don't even need to have Lewis here if you don't want to do it, because Kirilloff's hitting too.
Yeah.
And Kirilloff,
3 for 4 last night.
Kirilloff's, when the season started, you thought he was going to be one of your best hitters, right? And then he had the bad wrist again. And who knows if the wrist is going to hold up. But, I would have, you'd rather run him up there than half your lineup. But the whole problem here is they're scoring 2 runs a game. For God's sake.
Boy, if only there was a guy, a few blocks down the street hitting 322 in AAA with a 1,000 OPS, snagging backhanded stabs at third base. I don't know if there's someone like that you could lean on.
I know you guys are more hardcore into Lewis than I am. But obviously I'd rather have him here than Nick Gordon, but it could be Kirilloff too. Either one of them. I don't care. But
Pat's right in that we're gonna get what we want, and then Lewis is gonna go 0 for 25 or something.
Do you guys want panic? Here's panic for you. Polanco's ankle is acting up again.
Yeah, he's supposedly going to play tonight.
I know, Pat, but this is what we get from Rocco every time.
He played through all last year. I mean,
I know, but it impacts him. Like, he'll slump because his ankle's screwed up. And the problem is, it's also chronic. And Rocco gives us this BS every time. Well, he's going to play tomorrow. First of all, he might not. Second of all, if it's chronic again, we're going to have the same problem, which is him trying to play through pain, which gets to be an issue. So,
but the good thing about him is he does play through pain.
This is true.
I give him credit. Unlike some of our other fellows.
Wow.
But hey, Buxton got out of his slump, so that's good. He got himself a hit. How many hops was that? Like 22 hops he hit, whatever it was.
He's hitting the ball hard, Pat. Twitter will tell you this every time.
Are they still? Is anybody telling you? Well, he did hit the ball. The guy made a nice play in left field. The previous at bat, but
your guy.
That happens, and I don't know. You look at June, baby. The schedule when they start playing real teams, and instead of being ahead 2-0 and instead of urinating away 2-0 leads in the last two innings, they'll be down 9-2, so it won't make any difference, okay?
Yeah, and I think so. Like people dropping in here, wait a second. I know they lost last night, but they're 27-18. They're 4.5 games up, and the cynical, negative tone of this segment doesn't seem to fit the team record. But Pat, you are looking at this team as sort of fool's gold. That once they start playing Toronto and the Yankees and the Rays, etc.
Devin Smeltzer, God love him, shut out Kansas City for 7 innings. You're going to run him out there against Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton and that collection and say, go get him, fellas. Can you shut these guys out for 7 innings, or are they going to get 8?
Where's Dobnik then? Come on.
Where is he, by the way? Is he hurt still?
Like the 900-day IL. He won't be back for
What happened? Is it...
He got hurt in spring training.
He's got what is it? It's
I don't know.
Something to do with
I don't know when I really. I mean, God bless
there would have been a better idea, for that $9 million. You could have, gone out in the street and given it to little kids or some damn thing, or just burned it.
Okay, we need impromptu pecking order of panicked or premature Twins contract handouts. Nick Blackburn. Phil Hughes after the first good year with 2 years left on the contract.
There was a lot of money on Phil there. A lot more money than 9. But the idea that they could watch Dauber with that sinker and think that, boy, we got to get him we can get him cheap, What was it? What was the logic? I have no idea. Did they feel sorry for him because he, had pitched in the not even an independent league? What was it? I don't know.
He is under contract. Oh my God, this is amazing. Now some of these are team options, but he is under contract through 2028.
Yeah. Well, but he guaranteed 9. I think he was guaranteed 9, and then they'd have to pick up the option. He's got to be that wife and his that he married in the barn. They got to be just out there in the hills of West Virginia, just thinking, how did we do this?
Lottery,
how
baby.
Did we get somebody to give us $9 million for this?
It's the lottery, Pat.
Throw, huh?
He stopped in, bought a ticket, and won it. Damn it!
Yes, he did.
Hey, before we go, tragic death. This one sucks.
Ray Liotta, man, terrible. That 67, down in just busier than heck. You're doing all kinds of projects and series and movies, and he was down there with his new fiance, with his new fiance, and
man,
and I think he died in his sleep. The way it sounded, 67 years old. Man, he was great. He was.
Goodfellas is one of the all-time.
I think I'm like everybody else. I went and watched segments of Goodfellas when I heard the news, and somebody tweeted this out. One of the great scenes ever is his first date with Lorraine Bracco when they walk from the street through the kitchen of the Copa. One shot. It was one shot, 2.5 minutes long, and it told you everything you had to know about the mafia life and Ray Liotta and this naive young woman that was getting herself into it. And she says to him, after he gives away all the 20s to everybody, she says, "What do you do? What's your job?" He says, "I'm in construction." So he's in construction. God, you know that movie and Miller's Crossing were released 3 days apart in September of 1990. The Goodfellas was released on September 19th, and the great Coen brothers missed because it came out when it did. It received no attention, but Miller's Crossing is damn near as good as Goodfellas. Not quite, but because it doesn't have Joe Pesci, and it doesn't. But Liotta, a great thing about that movie, in addition to that first date scene, is when he's on the cocaine, and you know that the cops are going to come, and everything speeds up. He does he's talking.
Yeah, his day. Yes,
he's talking in fast motion. Yep. He's running around and back. I mean, Scorsese was really
and narrates it like that.
Yeah, he narrates it like.
So what does she do after all that? Yeah. She gets on the phone.
He moved everything up like he did it at triple speed. It was just genius. And the scene where their mom's in there cooking dinner for him, and the guy's out in the trunk kicking, trying to get out of there. This dude go out and shoot him. God, that movie was fantastic. And Liotta, he was not that well known. He's a 35-year-old guy then, not that well known when he got that role.
Versatility too. He made a cameo as a police officer in Muppets in Space like 25 years ago too.
Yeah, right. He was
the first. I think. Well, Field of Dreams, but the first movie I saw with Ray Liotta was with Johnny Depp in Blow.
Yeah.
In the early 2000s, I want to say.
Oh yeah. I mean, he was, after he got that after 1990, anybody who made a gangster movie, one of their first calls they made was Liotta. Maybe not as the star, but as a part of it. Yep. He was also fantastic as the abusive, crazed fiance of Melanie Griffith in Something Wild, which is a great movie, not the least of which is some of the scenes with Melanie in it, or when she's the young Melanie, are pretty good. But he was great in there as the jackass boyfriend. It was fantastic.
Yep.
So
rest in peace.
Anyway, have a good Memorial Day weekend, fellas. Everybody, you guys take a Monday off, I suppose.
We've got some stuff. We've got Action Movie Rewind coming back for the weekend for the listeners. Top Gun.
Okay.
And then we'll have a Purple Daily flashback episode.
Top Gun is getting rave reviews.
It's like a 97% on Rotten Tomatoes.
We're all seeing it next week, Pat.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Are you guys going?
We're bringing Action Movie Rewind back, Top Gun, and then we'll do Top Gun Maverick.
What's the short guy doing in this one? Is he like an instructor or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
Tom's
supposed to be an instructor now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He plays himself as the number 2 in line in the Church of Scientology, and he's trying to convert all the Navy pilots.
And Goose's son.
Miles
son.
Teller?
I fully expect Dex to start crying.
Oh, I will.
Goose's son is in it?
Well, Miles Teller plays who is Goose's son in the movie, yes.
Well, yeah, I didn't think it was
Yeah.
Goose.
It's really the kid. They went and dug him up.
Did they dust off Meg Ryan for this movie, too? Or
I
no?
don't think she's back.
Okay.
I think she's quit acting for the most part.
Oh.
When's the last time that she did something? It's been
I don't
a
know,
while.
man.
It's
It has
been a
been a
long
while.
time.
Meg hasn't done a lot.
Well, she had a good run, that's for sure. But
Yep.
Ray Liotta, man, I'm upset.
Yeah, that's a bad one.
It's terrific.
That's a bad one. Too young.
All right, gentlemen.
All right, Pat,
Thanks,
enjoy your
Pat.
weekend.
Good
We'll talk to
holiday
you.
weekend. I'm going downtown. I was down there last Friday. There was nobody there. Can you imagine how empty downtown's going to be today?
Maybe Mike Max can get down there and feel safe. It'll be great.
Yes, right.
In that wind tunnel.
I park about a half a block from Mike, on the street where Mike goes to work every day, and I've had no problems. But that's the way
I hear it's very dangerous.
So dangerous.
Very dangerous. See you,
All
Royce.
right, see you, Pat.
Bye,
All right,
Pat.
that's Rapping with Royce. Presented by our friends at Federated Mutual Insurance Company. They have been helping businesses for over 100 years, and their culture is grounded in equity, integrity, teamwork, and respect. We like to think that our culture is grounded in most of those words as well, at least one or two of them. the 4 cornerstones that create the foundation that supports all interactions and decision-making at Federated. Federatedinsurance.com, where it's our business to protect yours.